Welcome back everyone to another part of my Crash Bash 200% walkthrough, and in part number 32 we will be going on to Skyballs, Manic Panic, Pogo Padlock, Jane Bash, Jungle Fox, Toxic Dash and Ring Ding. Quite a lot of levels actually, indeed. Now, one thing you're going to notice is that I do actually have the treats activated for Skyballs. As a precautionary measure, because I've actually done all these challenges for an hour, and I said to myself, if I can't get these done within an hour of constantly trying it, then I'm going to activate the treats and use them. So, I do apologise if you don't like me using treats, but I'm telling you now, it just took so long to get up to this point, and it can be a nightmare, some of these minigames, I will openly admit. But anyway, some of the strategies that you got to remember for Skyballs is that you've got to obviously take into consideration when it tilts. So for example, if it tilts to the left, you ideally want to shoot the actual metal balls off to the left, or in this case off to Cortex. Now in this minigame it always helps to actually get the player that's actually in the lead, and most of the time it actually seems to tilt in towards the actual person that is in the lead. So you want to take advantage of that as well. But besides that, there's not too many other strategies. Obviously use the extra kicks and angles, the actual kicks itself, so that the balls can actually go to left and right respectively rather than just straight ahead, because 9 times out of 10 you'll probably lose doing that if you're just shooting the balls straight ahead. They will just either bounce back to you if the opponent's dead, or probably they'll just extra kick it back to you if they're smart enough. And if you're doing co-op, obviously you want to sort of aim sort of straight ahead respectively so that you don't get each other out. Now at the moment in time, Koala Kong and Tiny eliminated at the same time, which you will very rarely see actually in Crash Bash. You'll very rarely see the computers being eliminated at the same time. Anyway, Cortex has got 2 goals, I've got 5. We get Cortex out, and that is the first victory. And now we've got to do round number 2. Now these matches can go on for quite some time actually. They always go on for at least a minute and a half, so that's probably why there's no timer on. But again, it always seems like that on the Platinum Relics, the computers are always slightly harder than the ones on Gold. So don't let up at all. And at the moment in time, Cortex is in lead by 19. Very good lead at the moment in time. I'm down to 15, drawn with Tiny. Tiny's now below me. Koala Kong's got 16, he's holding it there. Now we're all tied, we've all got 14 points, so I've got 13 now. And we are slowly going down, all of us. Now I'm going down more so, because of the sloppy gameplay. Cortex is sort of shifting left and right, he's got the dritters in his pants. And he's bouncing them back, and Mayhem will soon come on to the battlefield, so to speak. I'm telling you, like, as soon as 1 or 2 people are out, it just becomes absolutely manic on this stage. And on any of the Crash Ball stages, really. But this one, if they all tilt to one area, oh boy, they're tilting your area, you're kind of dead, or you're going to lose a hell of a lot of points. There's about 5 balls on the screen at once now. We've got to try to manage all of these at the same time. Now I've just let in about 4 goals in, and Cortex has let in like 1 out of the 8. Now as you can see, I did just refill my points just as a precautionary measure, because I knew I was probably going to lose actually. And I was thinking, you know, I can't really lose at the moment. I cannot afford to. So it's bouncing back again. I'm already down to 8 once again, which is very bad. That's what I'm saying, it's very sloppy. Cortex let 2 in at once, so it shouldn't be too hard now to get him out. And there we go. And that's how you make the computer feel like crap. Pretty much. You make him feel bad, you make him feel like crud. With the amazing cheats. You see, I wasn't even paying attention at that point. Now ideally I could have sat in one place and just kept pressing the activation button for the treat, but I was thinking, you know what, I'm actually going to try and do it legitimately. And I have seen people do it where they'll just get the relic and they'll just sit there with like a particular cheat active and they'll get the relic. like, it's no work, but to be honest, I can't blame people for doing it, because some of these relic challenges are nonsense. And that's the weird thing as well. If you just saw what Koala Kong did there, he done an extra kick, but it angled into his own post and went in. That can be very annoying, because that can happen to anyone. And it seems like if the ball is level with your actual device or cart, so to speak, either left or the right, and you do an extra kick near it, it's most likely going to hit your own post. So it's probably ideal just to sort of push it with the actual ship itself, because most of the time it will actually go out, or it will bounce off the post and actually go either into the other person's post sometimes, or it may go actually just outwards and act like an extra kick. Which I know people are going to be like, what the hell, what do you mean, Rich Renegade? It does happen, but I wouldn't necessarily try it unless you only had like a few points left. The reason being is that it's really a last resort sort of thing that you would do. Now, the game's really not programmed to do that, to be completely honest, but that is a strategy that you can use if you need to. Now, with that out of the way, that means that we have run Skyballs, Platinum Relic, and now we are going to be moving on to Manic Panics. Now, I've done this first time. The simple strategy, there's one key strategy for this, and this will work every time on any character. Just get the bomb. You want to get the bomb, hit someone, and then run away. And then the bombs always seem to come back maybe 3 or 4 seconds after it being used. So you want to try to get the bomb and use it straight away. Now obviously extra kicks are important here to make sure you get yourself back on. It doesn't matter if the computer necessarily gets the bomb, because they will not be able to actually do anything about it. If you get the lightning strike, you definitely want to make sure that you can get it. Now this is what I want to actually note, is that if you have an item like the lightning and then you grab the bomb, you still have the lightning, and once the lightning is used you don't actually have the bomb at all, and vice versa. So use the weapon that you've got. Now obviously I would suggest that if there is a bomb on the actual pitch, it may be best to pick it up if you're on the polar bear. The reason I say that is to stop the actual opponent from hitting you off your polar bear, because it becomes significantly harder to actually push the people off. Now, as you can see there, Coco actually blasted 2 people in 1, which is good. So I've got Cortex off now, and then all we've got to do is get Dingo and Coco off. Now, I believe once they're off the polar bears, their push is actually weakened by half, which is good. It's not as strong, and if you're on a polar bear, you've got a much easier chance of pushing him off. Now, the easiest thing to do really is to get like another bomb and try to just blow them to smithereens. It's the easiest thing you can do. And to be honest, this is probably the easiest polar push stage in the game for that reason. This item of the bomb is too good. Like, I can understand if maybe they had modified it so that you can only get people off the bear and that's it. You can't use a bomb to do that again. But no, they were like, oh, we're just going to put bombs in here anyway. So even after you get them off the bears, and you know, they can't really do much about it. Now you see, I got the weight here, so I picked up the bomb as a precautionary measure in case anyone else got it. Now, that then makes the bomb reappear, which can be good if you pass over that item to a particular person. Now, I nearly went off by Coco. We actually blasted her. Now, we're going to grab the bomb again. We're going to run to her. She's just standing there, not doing a thing like an idiot. And then we blast her, and that is it. We have won 3 rounds, and that's our Platinum Relic. Now, Pogo Padlock. Oh, Pogo Padlock. There's quite a few strategies for this, and I actually want to explain more so the cooperative strategies. What you want to do is you want to have one person on a lock, and one person get speedy shoes and missiles. The reason I say this really is that if you get a big square, or if player 1 say gets a big square and player 2's got the lock, they can sort of go into their pathway to let that person out, provided the lock lasts for that long of a time. Now keep in mind the lock only really lasts a couple of seconds, about maybe 5-6 seconds at most, so you really need to make the use of it. The other reason I say for one person to use the lock is that you can at least guarantee some points and hopefully cash in before you go on your own square. You want to use the missiles to your advantage as well. That's one key factor of Pogo Padlock, is that you really need to use every single missile as best as you can. You want to try to hit the opponent that has the most squares, and even though I wouldn't recommend doing this, if you're near a box and your partner isn't near any box at all, and you're thinking, okay, well I need to cash all of our points to make, say, maybe 30 or 40 points, then by all means I would suggest to at least hit your partner to gain the points, but obviously tell them so they can stay still and get hit. Now, the reason I'm kind of skeptical in saying it is because if the computer has a missile, then it's sort of the first person to hit them who gain the points. Now, as for single player, I would suggest you really need speedy shoes, and then, like I did there, you need to go for the lock so you can guarantee the points. So you need to really switch about the weapons. I wouldn't suggest to stay on one sort of special item at a time. I would suggest to get the speedy shoes. If you can see the lock, try going for the lock, and then if you can see the missile, go for the missile, etc, etc. And you also want to make sure that if a duplicate item appears, like for example then I had speedy shoes and another one appeared, collect them as well to prevent the computer from actually collecting them and making it easier on themselves. I know that's a whole lot of sort of tips, so to speak, for this minigame, but I'm telling you, it does work. When you can put it into practice and the computer is not so ludicrously annoying, that is. As you can see now, Coco and Crash now have speedy shoes. Crash has got a lock, and everyone's got a special item besides myself, which means it's going to be ludicrously hard. Now, as you're going to see here, I've got 87 points. I've got tons of it, and Coco banks it pretty much, and she gets 30 points. So, you're thinking, how are my points increasing? Well, I found another special little treat again. I tried this for an hour, and I could not do it at all. And it increases it to the maximum amount, which is 999 points. So, you can always do that. And the reason I wanted to keep this up is because of the fact that, just to show you proof that it goes up to 999 without, say, cutting to the next part. And there we go. So it doesn't take too long to go up to 999. But I think when I done this the first time, I got up to 2 victories and lost literally by 1 point. And I'm telling you now, I just looked at it and I was like, no, I can't have lost by 1 point. And I did. And as you can see, that I just got completely ricocheted with missiles, and that's what happened to me. Like, I got ricocheted with missiles, then I managed to bank my own points and then lose them, pretty much. I've pretty much still lost even with the points I gained. But anyway, Dingodile has got the lock. So in this example, I would say whoever's got the lock, you want to try aiming for. Now, obviously the computers will always have priority over you, which, as I've stated countless times before, is really stupid, because it's not a fighting game. It's not something you're going to play, you know, competitively in regards to. And there's no reason for this to have priority over just because you pick a certain character. If it's a game like this, then really it should just be equal. I can understand Crash, you know, Jungle Bash, Space Bash, etc. for doing it. Now, I actually tried pausing there. Just very briefly, because I wanted to see if it would jump up, because I've heard that if you do a treat and you press pause, it will just jump up to the max points or whatever the treat is. But as I was saying, I can understand if, for example, Space Bash and that has some priority. I can appreciate that, because you're playing as different characters, but not Pogo Padlock. You're not the painting game. So that is the 3 victories, and there we go. I would have actually won that one, but I decided to use the cheat just in case. Now, Drain Bash. Drain Bash is pretty good. Now, there is one little technique that I have for this. I call it Spin Jump. And what do you mean? And you're probably thinking, what do you mean by Spin Jump? Well, essentially, you can actually spin and then jump instantly, but it only works, I probably believe, on the characters that can have the spin animation. Now, I haven't tried this with Coco or Cortex. No, sorry, not Coco. I haven't tried it with Cortex or Engine. Not Engine, Embryo, for example. I'm looking at the blimmin' screen right here and I can't get a name out. But I have tried it with every character that can spin and it works. So Dingodile, Rillaroom, Crash Bandicoot and Coco Bandicoot can do the spin jump technique. And what it allows you to do is, when you spin, about 0.5 seconds into the animation you can jump. So the moment you hit square, press X straight away, and you have a quick spin like that and you'll jump out, which actually helps you a lot, because it doesn't leave you as vulnerable after doing a spin. So it has a little added advantage to the characters that can spin, because with the other characters obviously they can throw much further. So that's a little technique which I only just found out doing this mini game, and I found out literally by mistake. I didn't even know you could sort of skip the animations on it, but apparently you can. Now what you really want to do is, I would suggest, if you are a character that can spin, you want to use a spin jump technique to try to get the items. Otherwise you want to try to actually hit the crates. Now I understand, for example, Neo Cortex and Embryo, it may be pretty hard to do, but you want to get that weapon, the light bulb weapon, so to speak. That's one. I think that and maybe the missiles are the key weapons that you want. Now Shockwave is actually very good, and it's actually really good if you can get near boxes and do it. Now as for the crates, how to avoid, not the crates, the missiles, the way to avoid them is actually to stand on top of the crates. If there's a crate near you, you want to stand on them, and as long as the missiles do not hit that crate, you're safe. So I would suggest if someone fires it, you want to jump. And as soon as you get this weapon here, you are pretty much golden throughout the remaining sort of round, because it does so much damage. And sometimes you can get 2 people in one, but it's very, very rare. Now, Jungle Fox, I never had a treat on this, luckily. Now, to be honest, the only strategy really is that you want to go for the person that can do the most damage, and by all means get the missiles. Do not shoot the missiles at all. If someone shoots the missiles, the weapon will disappear if that laser goes into it. Now the reason I'm saying to get the actual missiles is because it does like 60 to 70% damage. It is the most powerful weapon in the game, in any of the game modes for that matter. Now the mines really, they aren't helpful unless everyone's in a huddle. And the totems in the middle are extremely good because they do about the same amount of damage as the missiles do. They first go off to the bottom left, and then they go off to the bottom right. Now what you want to do is try to collect the Wumpa Fruits if you can. I lucked out by that landing on me and that being a Wumpa Fruit. Now for example, Tiny for me is the strongest opponent. He can do at least 20, maybe 20 to 15% damage on you quite easily, and the rest can only do maybe 10%. A slight difference, but Tiny is really powerful in this situation. Now Cortex's laser is very quick, and Crash can shoot a very slow but a long-lasting one, which on Jungle Fox or Swamp Fox really isn't helpful for that type of character. Now ideally the type of character you want is someone that can shoot twice, because if I want to shoot Cortex and Tiny, I can do that at the same time. Now I've got missiles here, so I'm going to decide to take out Tiny and Crash, and then Cortex just gets killed, and that is 3 victories. So to be honest, it's more like you pick up an item and you get lucky. Now Toxic Dash, by far my favourite Ring-Ding level, not Ring-Ding level, the favourite Crash Dash level of all time, personally for me. Reason being, great music, great effects, great graphics, and it's just a lot of fun. The only strategy I would have really, just stay in the middle. You don't really even need the Wumpa Fruit, I'm gonna be honest. Like, if the Wumpa Fruit is there, then I would suggest, you know, get it just in case, but don't go out of your way to get the Wumpa Fruit. There's no need, because it's such an easy stage to complete by going round the middle. The computer will always go either in the middle of the area or the outer ring, and that will always hit them off when those sludge monsters come out. If you stay directly on the inside lane of this, you are gold. Like, you will win. There is a guarantee that you will. Now, even if you have to go into that toxic barrel, just go into it, because that's the only one you're going to go into. And the computers will most likely hit the rest of them. Now, again, obviously, if you fall off and there's a star near you, go get it and keep a hold of it as a precautionary measure, just in case someone tries to catch up to you. And then you can repel them away like that. Now, this match was a little close to call, because I only had 5 laps, so luckily I had some Wumpa Fruit and Tiny got knocked out. And luckily then, when Dingar repelled me, Koala had done the same thing, so it pushed me back to where I was, essentially. So now we've only got 2 laps left. Now, Tiny I was really watching out for because he and Koala Kong were on the same amount. Now, they got knocked off besides Tiny. Tiny was going around very slowly, so that's the second victory for us. Now all we need is one more, and that is it. So Koala Kong's going to get dizzy, and so is Tiny. And Dingodile, and we both hit the toxic barrels. Sludge Munch just like, ooga booga booga, and a clap. I don't know why he claps like that. I really don't. Right, so Koala Kong just went off. He just felt the need to go into the sludge. Sludge Munch has woken up once again. He claps his hands and goes down, and his children are born. It's a very weird way to actually birth your own children into the world. Just, I'll clap my hands and there you go. It's like magic. Sludge magic, that's what it is. And then they all get knocked off at the same time. I actually push off Koala and Dingo, and then Tiny falls off at the same time. So that's the third victory, which means we get the Platinum Relic for Toxic Dash. Now finally, Ring Ding. This is the first Medieval Mayhem stage that we will be doing for the Platinum Relic challenges, and the rest of them are in Warp Room 5. Now, for this one, obviously you want to get your own colours. You want to, and to be honest, you need to get those boxes, because the vacuums will help significantly. And obviously, you want to get a weapon and then try hitting the black balloons to make them your colour. Now, once they are your colour, getting the vacuum is essential. Now, keep in mind, the boxes, when I done it, it seemed to favour the boots more than the vacuum for the most of the rounds. Now, if you're working cooperatively with your partner, just keep in mind that player 1 is yellow, player 2 is red. So if, for example, player 1 hits the black balloon accidentally and there's red balloons everywhere, then I would highly suggest then for the opposite player to keep the computer off that player. And the reason being is that that computer will hone in on you directly. The moment everything is your colour, they will go for you. Now, for example, I got that vacuum there, so I can't really do too much in regards to defending myself. The spin jump technique actually does work in this stage. But then obviously the computers usually are right near to hit you out of getting a weapon or the black balloon. So it's good for a short time, so you can get like maybe 1 or 2 more points. But besides that, it's not as useful as it is in the Crash Bash or Crash Bash stages, essentially, or the Box Bash, what have you. I mean, then those boots do help. They allow you to go in the opposite direction, essentially, is what they're used for. You actually feel the effect of the turning. Now, everything is my colour. Oh, yellow. Fancy in yellow. Now, that's the other thing you want to do. You want to try and get like 2 or 3 points and jump into the back balloons if you can. Now, sometimes they'll change to yellow and then constantly stay at yellow, and sometimes they won't. Now, this was ludicrous. Like, if you get everything your colour and you get a vacuum, this is the problem. If the computer gets it and they get a vacuum and they manage to get more than 6 points, there's a good chance you're going to lose that round. And that's what I found out by doing this maybe 5-6 times, really. So I only just won by 3 points. If it was about 2 or 3 more seconds, Cortex would have won that.
3, 2, 1, go.
Now the final round. Now, my little brother actually came in when I was doing the 3rd round, and he was watching me do this. Now, I got so many vacuums in this round, it was unbelievable. So that's the first vacuum, so I've got about 9 points, 10 points, so, you know, I'm in the lead only just, so, you know, it's still anyone's game at the moment in time. There's still a minute left. So everything turns to my colour, essentially, which is good, but then I actually see that there is a box which I can hit, and it actually turns out to be a vacuum. So I start jumping around. That's my 2nd vacuum of the game. Red balloon actually accidentally goes into myself, so that means I lose it. And I'm up to 22 points, so I'm in a very good lead now. There's not really any particular way I can lose unless the computer gets a vacuum. So I decide to carry on getting more points, and lo and behold, I get another vacuum. Now, I actually do the spin jump technique, and I start gaining even more points, and I gain up to, you'll see in a minute, 40 points, and I use the vacuum pretty much all the time. Now, I know Cortex will not be able to catch up, as literally he can't do anything at all. So I just